got a place in our schedule that I think history has something to say about. We've had open weeks before, and hadn't necessarily been the best thing for us. I don't think this year is like other years, though. But I think we, as a football team that has some momentum and has a lot to gain, what we're looking at in November are probably the three best teams in the league. Probably the best defensive team we played against, and probably the best offensive team we played against that are stuck in there together. And so the next one, though, is like people want to talk about the playoffs, but EKU's a playoff game. If we're capable of a playoff mentality, because winning this league is our primary objective. It has been from the very beginning. The surest way is to take care of it on the field. And so, our players had a really good week in the open week. There was just a little rustiness with no game to get ready for, but we got past it, and we put on pads on Tuesday and Wednesday, and so we've put a plan together. The plan's right, and the process will get started tomorrow, and we'll get back to process, and process will lead us. That process of preparation will lead us to a performance that we need. When I said we're going to play against the best defense we're going to play against in the month of November, I specifically meant EKU. I'm sure you're sitting here and don't ever talk specific about other teams' players, please. I know you're smarter than that, but I am. But you're going to take my lead. These two guys that play inside for them, both of them remind me of Brant Thomas, if that means anything. Anybody else, it's about a high compliment as I can put on somebody. And they just are defensively. They're good at corner. They're good at safety. They're good at linebacker. I think they've got one player that plays with a little inexperience, but just very impressed with their defensive football team. Offensively, I'm impressed with their talent. I think they've had injuries that have affected them, and I think they've had newness that have affected them. But they're as talented as anybody in this league on offense. They lost their running back. I remember 33 is all I know is his number because he's not on this depth chart. And the number 11, I think that was the wideout that made so many plays against us last year. They've really sort of struggled through some situations. But I do think that playing us is going to be a benchmark and a focus point for them, and I think we're mature enough to understand that. And we need to put the game inside of our own aspirations. Pain and gain are the two things that move people. We got a lot to gain, and hopefully we don't have to feel some pain to get ourselves moving. Because it'd be painful to not play our best football. But I'll tell you this, there's nobody that we have consistently played bad football against sometimes in this bunch. And bad football means 5 interceptions in one game. 2 kickoff returns back-to-back for touchdowns. I mean, those are just enormously bad examples of football. And that would just be the ice, and there's a cake full of it. The things that we've done, and taking nothing away from Eastern Kentucky. But I think sometimes we have to realize who these folks are and how they see us and how they see themselves, and how talented they are. So 22 positions are the most talented team we've played. Yes, obviously. And TJ Pryor has put together made more things happen than any one player in this league. He'd be the offensive player of the year in this league. But he's been hurt and he's missed some things. But he's And I think Andrew Saucy would be the defensive player of the year in this league right now. So, we got to know what we're up against. I think we will. We got to play at night. We got to play in the cold. And hopefully we can try to, deal with circumstances like that. Tyler Ogletree is with us. He truly is a man for all positions, because he's played center guard, tackle, center guard, tackle, center guard, tackle, center guard, tackle. He even spent a little time early on as a defensive lineman. Tyler's one of our captains. He's probably the most fun-loving guy on this football team. He'll be laughing when things aren't necessarily that laughable. I guess he thinks he's in charge of keeping it loose. That's the way I take it, true. But he plays at a level to win every time we go play. So we got our secondary quarterback here, and you still lead the league in interception.
I'm not sure.
Yes, you do. And so, I've said this before, but you had to feel like that the guy that plays where he plays is the backstop for the whole thing. You don't turn anybody loose down the middle running or catching, and that when a critical, sure tackle is needed, that he'll be there. And though he's a sophomore, it's true that Richard's sophomore. Then, he's still going to get better and better, and I hope. Actually, when we talk about open weeks, you have people that just get beat up. You think that, they'll come back. I've watched Kedgy pretty close. He's gotten beat up. Hopefully that time off made a difference to him, I hope, because he was carrying some wounds around with him all over the place. But I tell you about Kedgy, too. He won't miss a play. He won't miss a practice. He just fought through all of it. And you got Jamal, who's made more big plays than anybody on this football team. I guess you could say he was big for his size. And these two guys together will create a comedy show. That's why I got two people separated. Personality galore. So these are all really good students. They're all become great families. So we're just proud to have them at Jacksonville State. Who y'all need here? Questions for somebody?
Let's start with you first. With having the open week done, did that give you a chance to get everybody back, like Middleton and Kay and everybody that?
That's what we're thinking. We quite hadn't been out there, but I think the only person that we will be missing in our preparation is going to be Kevin Dix. And he's got hand surgery. If we can keep this season go long enough, he'll be back out there.
And they got little bones in his wrists or something.
It's I think it's plates and screws, which you can play with to a certain degree, but it's just being tough enough to do it, he'd do it, but I don't think that's what.
And then come back with a bat on the
yeah,
hand and that kind of thing.
But Kevin I haven't seen Kevin since he made his last trip to the doctor, but that's my understanding. But everybody else should be there.
You mentioned the cold. Does that concern you?